Hi, this is a video about the repeatability of tests using an SQLite manager, and the trick here is it's using an underlying database. So in this first naive implementation, there are a couple of tests here. One, where it opens the database, and we're just expecting it to open without a failure. And the second one, where it reads the database and reads out 3 records and checks that they match these records within the test. Now, if we look at what the SQLite manager is doing, at some point we're binding a statement to the database, and it takes in this opaque pointer, which is in fact a pointer to the database, and it binds a statement to it. So it's using a physical database, and in this case, I'm using a test database. So in a way, it's okay. I'm not using the production database, which might change. I'm using a test database. And you'd think that's a reasonable approach. So when I run the tests, everything seems fine, and we can hopefully see that the tests are successful. Now there's a problem. This opens, this reads, and I've got more functions that I'd like to test. How about a delete function? So it deletes one of these 3 records that I'm testing. And something, after a few seconds, the delete test works fine, but then the reading doesn't. Now the reason behind this is you don't know what order these tests run in beforehand. So it might well be, and we've got partial evidence here, running delete before it's running read. So therefore, this is saying I've only got 2 records out of your database and I was expecting 3. It's all a bit disappointing, and it means you can't really test these with this database, because you've got a physical database, and as soon as you're deleting an element from it, you don't know the order the tests might run in, and you run into trouble. So the solution is to do some refactoring. In this case, what I've done is written a wrapper around these SQL statements. So we might have had down there, we're preparing statements to link them to the database. This uses the SQLite 3 module, so it's doing it with the real database that you feed it. But actually, you can mock this out. So therefore, instead of actually preparing the database, you might just have a Boolean that runs it. So you don't have to use the real database to do these things. So when you're actually testing what is in the database, instead of using your physical database on the disk, you're just getting this class to maybe return some records. And in fact, that's what I've done. So I've got a series of tests that do exactly that. So you'd expect when you run these, I can open the database, I can read, I can insert, I can delete, and then I get that reassuring test succeeded, because I'm no longer using the real database, I'm using my mocked SQLite 3 wrapper. And with that, I can do kind of whatever I want because I've mocked out the relevant functions.